Jayo Radhe, Jayo Krishna, Jaya Vrindavan. Jayo Radhe, Jayo Krishna, Jaya Vrindavan. Alright. Okay. Shri Govinda Gopi Nata Madana Moha. Shama Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan. Giri Govardhan. Kalindi Jamuna Jaya Jaya Mahabhan. Keshigata Vamjivata Dvadashakana. Srinanda Yasoda Jaya Jaya Gopaga. Sri Damadi Jaya Jaya Denu Vatsaga. Jaya Vrishabhanu Jaya Kirtida Sundari. Jaya Vrishabhanu Jaya Kirtida Sundari. Jaya Purnamasi Jaya Abhira Nagari. Jaya Purnamasi Jaya Abhira Nagari. Jaya Jaya Gopi Sara Vrindavana Maj. Vrindavana Maj. Jaya Jaya Krishna Saka Bhaktu Vijara. Jaya Jaya Krishna Saka Bhaktu Vijara. Jaya Rama Gata Jaya Rohini Nanda. Jaya Jaya Vrindavana Vasi Jata Jaya Jaya Vrindavana Vijapurni Jaya Naga Kanyaga Pakite Jahara Pailo Govinda Chara Rasamangala Jaya Jaya Radhasya Jaya Jaya Rasa Lila Sarva Manora Jaya Jayojvala Rasa Sarva Rasa Sara Jaya Jayojvala Rasa Sarva Rasa Sara Parakiya Bhave Jaha Brajete Prachar Janaba Pada Padma Koriya Smara Janaba Pada Padma Koriya Deena Krishna Dasa Kohe Nama Sankirtan Jaya Radhe Jaya Krishna Jaya Vrindavan Radhe Jaya Krishna Jaya Vrindavan Shri Govinda Gopi Nata Madana Mohan Govinda Gopi Nada Madana Jaya Vrindavan Dham Jaya Vrindavan Dham Jaya Vrindavan Dham Jaya Vrindavan Dham Vrindavan Dham Jaya Vrindavan Dham Jaya Vrindavan Jaya Vrindavan Dham Jaya Vrindavan Dham Jaya Vrindavan Dham Jaya Vrindavan Dham Bolo Sri Brajabhumi Vrindavan Dham ki Jai Jai Sri Radhe. So when you go back to your different places, when you sing this song, then all these places that we saw, ping, 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 they'll come like slideshow in your heart. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Gananjana Shalakaya Chaksurun Militam Jena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namah. Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Sapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamaya Pradati Swapadandigam Aradhanastrinandantai Vidam Yache Puna Puna Srimad Rupa Padambujo Dulisyam Janma Janmani. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Vanchakalpatrubhyascha kripa sindhu vaivata patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namah. So when you leave Vrindavan, after you turn at Chatikar, then the first village you come to is this Jade. And somehow after, I've been here for almost 4 decades, somehow I never came here. Because I just see from the highway, before all these trees were there, you could see there was just this green scum and plastic and trash. I never felt inspired to come here. Then I read that somehow or other Braj Foundation had to fix this place up. But still somehow, we're always going Nandagam, Barsana, Govardhan, someplace. I never came here. But this Kartik, Romapad Maharaj brought 600 devotees with him. Of course, I have a busy schedule in Kartik. Somehow I squeezed in one day, and that was the day they came here to Jaikund. I said, they're going to Jaikund? What are 600 people going to do at Jaikund? You know, where are they going to sit? What is? And you can see, even if we had 6,000 people here, it wouldn't matter. So I saw this Kartik for the first time, this place. You know? And so beautiful Maidans they've made. And we're just going to hear in a minute, you can see in the background the Aghasura sculpture is there. So this village is famous for the pastime of Aghasura. And somehow the Brijvasis tell, because there's another past that happened in Vrindavan, that was the Kaliya Leela. But the Brijvasis say that after Krishna chastised Kaliya, he told him to leave Vrindavan. You go back to that Ramanaka island, which is Fiji. We were just in Fiji. And the villagers tell there's a place, there's a big mountain on top of the mountain, there's a big cave, and Kali lives in that cave, they say. But the native Fijians, that's a very sacred place for them, so they don't let anybody go there. If you want to try and go there to see if Kali Naga is actually there, you'll probably get killed and made into a soup. The native people originally were cannibals. They tell some legend that there was one guy who ate 93 human beings in his lifetime. And when the British came there, they got one British man, and they couldn't figure out why they kept cooking and cooking, and somehow his feet never cooked. They'd never seen shoes before. So, and I'd always heard that there's a special structure in Jaikund that with the water he goes up and down and up and down. But somehow I never came. But anyway, somehow they've taken that sculpture. This is Kaliya Naga. Because the villagers say that Krishna told him, you go back to that Ramanak island and don't look back. So they say here, he looked back at Vrindavan and turned into stone. And they used to tell that the stone goes up and down according to the level of the water. I don't know, but now they've made it fixed. They made what's his name? Braj Foundation has fixed up this place, made this beautiful dome. You can see the whole Kali Leela going on inside the dome here. So anyway, they say he turned into stone here. But the main pastime of this place is just before Krishna moved from Kumar to Paganda age. He went with his friends and all the cowherd boys and calves, and they went playing through the forest, and they were having a good time. Someone would steal the lunch bag from one boy and throw it to another boy and throw it to another boy, and that poor boy who lost his bag, he would try to catch up to it, but they would throw it over his head. And they came to a nice pond like this. They saw the frogs, so they got squatted down and began to imitate the frogs jumping, and they would see the birds flying in the sky. They would follow their shadows along the ground. The monkeys came and they would climb in a tree next to the monkey. The monkey would see them and they would show their teeth to the monkey. The monkey would go. They would find an old well and they'd shout in the well and the echo would come back and they would give gali to that echo. Somehow one demon came just in this place, named Aghasura. He took the form of a huge python. In fact, just near here where we have our Gurukul is a place called Ajay, because he was a Ajgar, so that village got the name Ajay. He was quite long, so that Leela is quite spread out. So way over here somewhere is Ajay, where we have our Gurukul. So he saw Krishna and all the cowherd boys coming. So he lay down on the ground and he stretched his mouth up to the clouds. And all the cowherd boys came and they saw this and they went, is this a mountain cave or what is this, you know? And then they got close and they said, oh, this is some kind of a snake lying down on the road. That must be his mouth stretching up to the clouds. And the fishy bad smell that's coming out of his mouth, bad smell of his intestines. And his teeth look like big mountain peaks. And they looked all around, they looked inside. And then they thought, some of them were afraid, but they said, anyway, Krishna's with us, he won't let anything happen to us. So they all just climbed in the mouth, as you can see this sculpture back over there on the other side. So they all just climbed in the mouth and walked inside before Krishna could do anything. And even Krishna was amazed seeing, even Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he was amazed at the actions of his material energy. He said, Maya is so strong. Before he could warn all the cowherd boys, they all just climbed inside, and all the cows climbed inside. And they all died, but Aghasura kept his mouth open. He was waiting for one more person to come. So then Krishna came inside of his mouth. As soon as Krishna came, then immediately shut his mouth. Boom. And Krishna, he began to expand himself and he became very, very hot. And finally he became so big, he was choked up. Aghasura, his eyes were spinning around in their sockets and he couldn't breathe anyway, you know. And he was just, finally somehow or other, his life air couldn't come out, just bam, burst through a hole in his head. And this sparkling, just like so many suns, sparkling spark came out and remained in the sky. Then Krishna, he opened up the demon's mouth, he glanced over all his friends and the cows, and they all came back to life. Thousands and thousands, we hear about sometimes somebody raising somebody from the dead, but Krishna, thousands of cowherd boys and thousands of cows, just by his glance. They all came out. And they were so astounded. They saw this big demon. They said, wow. So all the demigods were in the sky. Of course, when Krishna went inside the mouth and Aghasura shut his mouth, then all the demigods, they began to cry, alas, alas. Did you everybody hear anyone call alas, alas? I never did, but all the books say that. So when they saw Krishna come out with all the cowherd boys and Aghasura was dead, then all the demigods began to shout, Jayate, 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 Jayate. So this village became known as Jait, from Jayate, Jait. And funny thing happened was the boys, when they went home, they didn't talk about this pastime for 1 year. You know why? Next village down the road is called Chomua. Actually, there's many villages that this pastime takes place in. Many villages. Parkam, just like Priksha. Just like sometimes we say, please come to Braj. No, Priksha is telling my children have to take exams. So that's where, because Brahma, he saw all the cowherd boys. He heard something, because when he heard all the demigods shouting, Jayate, Jayate, what's going on? You know? Because the sound was echoing all the way up to Brahmalok. Jayate, Jayate. So he came down to see what's going on. After killing Aghasura, the cowherd boys were hungry. So they all sat down to take prasad. And he saw that Krishna would take a bite out of his laddu and he would hand it to Madhumangal, or one of his friends. Or just see what nice laddu my Maya made, my Maya Yasoda made. Did we learn that in our Bhakti Vriksha program? That we take a bite of our sweet and give it to our friend? Did we learn that? And Madhumangal would take a bite out of his laddu. He said, well, just see what laddu my Maya made. And Krishna would eat that laddu. So Brahma was confused. What is this? We don't learn this in the Bhakti program. Is this really Bhagwan or koi gwal ka bana hui Bhagwan? So he got some doubt. So then at that Parkam, that's where he decided to do test. And while the cowherd boys were eating, he stole all the calves. Then when the cowherd boys, they saw all the calves are gone, they said, oh no, Kanhaiya, all the cows, where did they go? And Kanhaiya said, all right, don't worry, you sit down, I'll go find them. Can you imagine? Krishna, the Supreme Personality Godhead, told us, don't worry, you keep eating, I'll go find the calves. Just like if your Guru Maharaj came and he said, I need some water. Say, yeah Maharaj, go get it. Would you do like that? Because don't worry, I'll go find the calves. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, he left his friends, no, you stay here, don't bother yourself, I'll go find the calves. He went up to find the calves and Brahma stole all the cowherd boys. Of course, our acharyas explain that actually the original calves and cowherd boys were taken away by Krishna. And he put some Maya ones there that Brahma took. He made some Maya ones that Brahma took away. Anyway, Krishna came back from looking for the calves. He couldn't find them anywhere. Then he saw there's no cowherd boys. And he thought, oh, if I go home without the boys and the calves, I'll get big trouble. So then Krishna expanded as all the cowherd boys and calves. Imagine. And he spanned it in such a way, exactly same color, same type of cloth, same, mannerism, just like one cowboy, he always has a nervous habit. So that Krishna expanded that cowboy nervous head. Some has a little spot in his head, like, exactly everything. Even there, when they went home, their mothers couldn't tell that this wasn't their own son. Now I ask the ladies, can you imagine not being able to recognize your own child? Because even if there's 200 children playing and one cries, the mother knows, oh, that's my child, she goes running, isn't it? But Krishna was so expert, they couldn't even understand this is not their own child. And we see one funny thing in Braj, because we all love children. Of course there's some cranks here they don't like, but anyway, most of us, we love children. But we love our own child more than others' child. It's natural. But in Braj, everyone loves Nandalala more than their own child. This funny thing we see in Braj. And for this one whole year, suddenly everyone, the love that they used to feel for Nandalala, they felt for their own children. For one full year, Krishna was thinking, everyone was so loving Krishna so much, they all wanted him as their own son. So Krishna fulfilled the desire. Everyone had Krishna as their son for one full year. And even Balaram, he couldn't understand. Because he wasn't with Krishna that day. When Brahma stole all the calves. Mother Yasoda kept him home for his Mother Rohini kept him home for his birthday party. So he wasn't there, but even he didn't understand what was going on. So one day they were on Govardhan Hill, and the boys were down below with the big calves. Now those calves, they no longer drank milk, they were eating, grass. And the cowherdmen were up on top of Govardhan Hill with the cows. And they already had new calves who were taking milk from them. But somehow or other they looked down and saw those calves. They just ran down the hill with their legs stretched forwards and backwards, and then together, and forwards and backwards, and then together, and their milk bags were going ka-choom, 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 ka-choom. And they all ran down, and all the cowherdmen saw that the calves are going to drink the milk, then there won't be any milk, what to do? Cowherdmen became so upset, but as soon as they came downstairs from Govardhan Hill, they saw all their children. They just forgot everything and picked up their child and held them in their laps and smelled their heads and caressed them. They just forgot all their anxieties. And Balarami is watching this. He said, wait a minute. What's going on here? So he took Krishna aside. He said, Kanaya, first I thought these were all pious rishis and sages and devotees from done lots of pious activities that they get to associate with you. And now I see they're all you. And all these calves are also you. Then Kanaya explained to him everything. So meanwhile, they all went on their way, and exactly 1 year later, one thing we should note about this is that this Vrindavan Dham is such a special place, because we just heard these calves, they became big, so they're not drinking milk, they're eating grass. And who are these calves? Krishna himself. This is such a holy tirth that Krishna himself was eating the grass of this tirth. And calves, they're very, very greedy, they rip it out by the roots. So the dhul is coming, dust is coming. This is such a tirth. We know many tirths, just like in Chitrakoot and Dandakaranya, Lord Rama and Sita were walking barefoot. So we know that Krishna with his cowherd boys, he was walking barefoot. Many tirths we'll find like that. But you won't find any tirtha where Krishna was eating the grass of that place. And not only eating the grass, for almost 6 to 8 months he was eating the dirt of this place. This is such a holy place. And don't think if we sit on the dirt somewhere, oh, my sari is getting dirty, my dhoti is getting... This dust is so purified. One speck, with all the opulence of Vaikuntha, you can't buy one grain of this dust. So it's our rule in Braj Prikama, when you stand up, you don't go like this. One grain is worth all the opulence of Vaikuntha. Now you all got, especially ladies, like so much jewelry, right? This is worth millions and millions of jewelries. Don't brush it off when you stand up. So Krishna was eating the dirt of this place for 6 to 8 months. He was eating the dirt of this place. And there's one Pandit in Vrindavan, he told me another thing. I don't know which Purana it's in. That actually what happened was Krishna was worried when Brahma went back to Brahmaloka, because we know that Brahmaloka, because he came back, he thought was a second, but a whole year had gone by on the earth, So Krishna was worried if he goes back to Brahmaloka, because just like when you go to visit your temple president or your GBC, there's a big sign, meeting, do not disturb, If he goes back to Brahmaloka and gets involved in a meeting, and our great Rishi in America, we have a Rishi in America named Murphy. And Murphy says a meeting is a place where minutes are kept and hours are lost. Then all the pastimes, one moment was just a whole year, all the pastimes will go out of whack. So this Pandit told me that Krishna, he went there, took the form of Brahma, and he told everybody in Brahmaloka that some Nakli Brahma is coming, don't let him come in. So Brahma couldn't come in, he came back right away. I don't know what Purana it's in, but that was one Pandit told me. So he came back after 1 year, and just across the highway, next village down is Chomua, because Brahma went to beg forgiveness. So he walked through that village, and everybody said, "Ye Chomua wale kaun hai?" Who's this four-faced guy? So that village became known as Chomua. So there he begged for, and when he came, he saw the cowherd boys and calves were still there. And then as he watched, they all turned into Vishnu forms. And millions of sages and demigods and everyone was singing and dancing all around them, glorifying all the Vishnu forms. And he was just, with his four heads, he was looking in every direction. He was just, So then he fell down just like a golden rod. So we know that Brahma's complexion is golden. He fell down just like a golden rod. Then when he stood up, Krishna was standing there with some chipped rice, yogurt, and Bhagavatam says phalam. But the Brishvasis explained to me that one of their favorite things is chipped rice, yogurt, and then you get this tanti fruit. Sometimes, I don't think we'll see one here, but sometimes you see a tree, not one leaf, one single leaf, just green twigs and very, very, very sharp thorns. And then just before Kartik, sprays of orangish, reddish orangish flowers comes. Looks like a fountain of reddish orange. And then the flowers fall off and little beads come and they grow into little great big peas like this. And the Brishvasis make a char with it. Tenti, that fruit, the tree is called karil and the fruit is called tanti. They say, Kabul ka mewa or Braj ka tanti. So, if you ever eat at a Brishvasi's house and you get this achar, it looks like great big peas. That's not peas, that's tenti achar. So that's what Lord Brahma saw. Krishna was standing there with his blue lotus fingers, and he has a lump of rice and yogurt and tenti achar. So this yellow mustard oil was streaming, dripping between his blue lotus flower fingers. That's what Lord Brahma saw. So then he offered, I think, was it 10 prayers or 20 prayers? I can't remember. Just now I can't remember. Oh, he had a whole bunch of prayers he offered. That 14th chapter, 13th chapter of this Leela, that Prabhupada personally translated and purported. And that was the last one, the 14th chapter. Prayers of Lord Brahma. So many nice prayers are there. That all our acharyas, especially in their writings, they cite these different verses from 14th chapter. Very important verses. I think there must be 40 verses. That's right, there's 40 verses. And Krishna was very silent. So Brahma didn't know if Krishna was pleased or not. He was very grave. Because, just like in the Govardhan Leela, we were there yesterday. What did Indra want to do? He wanted to destroy the Brishbasis and Braj along with their cows. Such a huge offense. And he offered 10 prayers and Krishna forgave him. Now Brahma, all he did was, he stole the cowherd boys and calves. He didn't kill anybody. He didn't try to. And he offered 40 prayers and Krishna was very grave. Because by Indra's offense, Krishna was together with all his friends and elders, everyone, all the Brishbasis. He was together with all the Brishbasis for 1 week. But by Brahma's offense, he separated Krishna from his friends. So it was much more grave offense. So even after 40 prayers, Krishna was very quiet, So all these pastimes on the other side of the highway, most of the other pastimes happened over there. So this is they've done a beautiful job fixing up this place with nice trees. We see here, just on the side of us here, this is anar. What do you say? Pomegranate. You see the little red flowers, buds. Now the flowers haven't come yet, just the little red buds are there. I think there's another one behind me. Anyway, there's a beautiful Prikrama Marg all the way around this kund. So to work up our appetite for breakfast, we'll circumambulate around this beautiful place. And it looks so beautiful, this dome, everything. It's like some people here from Hungary. Shivaram Maharaj made this beautiful new Brajadam. And there's beautiful domes like this there. And it's just like this. No pandas, no plastic. So beautiful Brajadhamas and Radhakund, Chamakund, Govardhan, everything is there. Big beautiful domes like this. So we'll walk around the kund here, Jai Kund, and we'll see the nice sculptures of Aghasura, and then by that time we'll have a nice appetite and we'll take prasadam. Oh, then at some point the British, they like...
The legend says that the British got bullet to remove this and the blood started coming out.
So you can see there's little marks like bullet holes or something here. And the villagers say blood came out. I don't know, but anyway, they say blood came. So they all stopped. Anyway, we'll circumambulate around with nice kirtan.